Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for stopping by, checking in on the crypto space. We're going to look at the broader market very quickly. First, we're going to check in on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Pepe, Atom. We'll see what you all want to look at. I've got about 30 minutes to hang out with you all. Just a couple notes. Over the weekend, Friday, did a live Q&A that's on our YouTube channel. I'm giving away some free courses there as well, and I'm going to pick the course winners later this evening. So check out that video if you have not yet. It's on our YouTube channel. So QQQ, bulls keeping control. Testing the high of Friday, which was 8-month highs, and failed to break it, but we're hanging out right there. So NASDAQ is strong. S&P 500 is sideways. The S&P 500 is sideways because there's a tug of war going on between our lead sector, the tech sector, the semiconductors, and our weaker sectors, the financial sector, energy, and I'll talk a lot more in depth about that in the end of the day stock video. But for now, we just want to know, SPY sideways, NASDAQ holding strength. The dollar had a bull break to end last week, and that definitely is adding a little bit of downside pressure on crypto. And now we've got, some consolidation with a red day in the dollar, and that's helping crypto bounce a bit. So overall, the most important factor for me, big picture on the dollar, and I'm now zooming out because I was zoomed in, we broke some short-term resistance. The key, if you are a crypto bull, is you want to see a weekly bear flag. And to determine whether it's a bear flag or not, we measure our retracement sizes. So we know that anything under 382 keeps the bear flag alive, and right now that bounce is 382. And if the bounce were to get to 50% plus, then that creates the space for a tightening range to continue to form most of the summer. So if you are a crypto bull, you really want to see a bear break of the dollar and a bear flag. And that would essentially be an inverse cup and handle. Weak bounce, but we would need to top out soon for that weekly bear flag to remain in play. So if you're a crypto bull, you want to see the dollar retrace at least half of that 2-day move to end last week. And again, retracement sizes can help us determine most likely scenarios. And I stress it often. Everybody asks me, what should I be focusing on as a newer trader in terms of patterns? Focus on equilibriums. I use it day trading almost every single day. Today, Riot was able to anticipate after the size of this bounce on the morning and after the size of this pullback, if we hold the low of the day, we're going to look for an equilibrium. So I short the 15-minute low or high. I covered for the 15-minute high or low. I was done with it at that point, but we ended up getting a bull break of the equilibrium, and that resulted in an extra 2% of upside. So it helps you establish trades within the equilibrium, and it helps you trade when the equilibrium breaks. So retracement sizes are the best guide for scouting equilibriums. Bitcoin. So solid oversold bounce, and we were 12-hour oversold into the end of last week. And a solid bounce over the weekend. It was fairly slow at first. We had a pretty solid bounce. We knew that the hourly bounce was big enough that our bottom was set for now. We then confirmed the 4-hour uptrend, and now the 4-hour uptrend is our guide. We're not going to forget we're in a daily downtrend. I'm personally viewing this as all one bounce from the lows. Because right now you could look at this and say, well, what about that little lower wick? Is that a trend change? And me as a technical analyst, I get to decide what I'm looking at. And for me, it's just a move on the daily from the low to the high of the bounce. There was some low volume weekend trading mixed in there. But for me, anything under 28.3 is a daily lower high. And I'm watching daily EMA 12 resistance being tested right now. The bounce is big enough to create the space for a daily trend change attempt to try and take place. So again, measuring retracement sizes from our last daily lower high, we saw a retracement of about 70%. If we go from back here, it's a retracement of about 45%. So either anchor that you're measuring from is big enough to keep an eye out for a daily high or low. That being said, short term, we're watching for bears to set daily lower highs. Essentially, the setup right now, if you're looking for trades, aggressive bears scouting daily lower highs, patient bulls scouting daily higher lows once we top out. And so we're watching the 4-hour RSI, not close to overbought, but if it keeps heading up towards overbought, we're definitely going to be paying attention to that, as it would be a reverse back burner. First 4-hour overbought conditions after a significant bear move. There's an uptrend resistance line that we could be keeping an eye on that we just rejected from. Is it a rising wedge? I mean, you could put a tight line there if you want. Not a ton of bounces off that support. So for me, I would be keeping an eye on the resistance, but I care about the price levels more. And it's the 4-hour uptrend. 27.2. Simple statement. If 27.2 is holding, the bulls have complete control of the bounce. If you lose 27.2, the 4-hour uptrend is lost, which is the first indication of our daily lower high being set. And then we patiently watch for a daily higher low compared to 25.8. Good amount of space for it to form, and then the bulls would have to confirm the daily uptrend. This is a battle for weekly EMA 12. You know I love the EMA 12s on all time frames. We dipped below it last week and held it into the close and trying to hold that level again. And so that's something on the longer term time frames that the bulls are clinging to and hoping to maintain weekly EMA 12, because that would keep us within striking distance of our recent top. If you lose that weekly EMA 12, you then have the space for the weekly lower high to be the most likely scenario. It's still possible that we could bounce from here and form a weekly lower high, but holding that weekly EMA 12 is the goal for the bulls this week. So all I care about in the short term, 4-hour uptrend and daily downtrends. Dominance chart for Bitcoin, I'm watching the sideways weekly range. Nothing is changing if we're within this range. We've been within this range for 9 weeks. The bull break would be notable if it were to happen, because that would get us to the largest dominance that we've seen in 2 years. And a bear break would be notable just in terms of altcoins gaining against Bitcoin more significantly than they have in 2.5 months. But for now, nothing changing. And again, as soon as I mark those 2 lines, it takes me all of 30 seconds to catch up on the dominance. Just say, all right, is anything changing? No? Okay, moving on. Don't care. ETH, daily bounce, daily EMA 12 resistance test. For me, anything under 1889 is just a daily lower high. Bulls are hoping to set up a daily trend change. We zoom into the 4-hour chart. We can see the 4-hour bull flag confirmed with 0 follow through. And if we break 1813, 4-hour uptrend support, that's the first indication of the daily lower high being set. ETH BTC, same thing. I'm watching the potential of the weekly falling wedge, but I'm watching the price levels. The visual guide of the trend lines is nice, but it's the price levels I care most about. I care about 639 support and 709 resistance. If neither of those levels are breaking, nothing is changing. Litecoin standing out. So Litecoin, we've been preparing for this equilibrium for months ago. And I was a little bit early. I was looking for that lower high to be right here, around 95. We did get one more leg up, but it was a lower high, now a higher low. And we're going to look for this Litecoin equilibrium on the weekly time frame to tighten up probably into June. I'm anticipating another lower high compared to 103.42 as the most likely scenario. In an ideal world, if you don't have positions, you want to see that lower high. You want to see 2 weeks of a bounce, 2 more weeks, a lower high, a week or 2 of a pullback, and then we look for the break. Because again, with equilibriums, you want them to get as tight as possible if you're not in a position, because that's when we get more confidence with follow through. So this Litecoin weekly equilibrium, we're going to be watching it until it plays out, and it's going nicely so far. So relative strength picked up significantly with the weekly higher low set. We could see the relative strength when this bear flag on the daily failed to confirm. On May 12th, we did not drop to the lower low, and Bitcoin on May 12th had very significant follow through on a lower low. And then Litecoin turned that around into bull momentum. And LTC, BTC bouncing very significantly. Still have to confirm a daily uptrend on LTC, BTC, but remember we're scouting a monthly higher low as the most likely scenario. So again, we can just put the pieces of the puzzle together. If Litecoin were to form a weekly equilibrium, if it were to break bull, that means LTC, BTC is very likely forming a monthly higher low. But we can easily see that weekly equilibrium continue to tighten up for another 3-4 weeks. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Litecoin because its weekly chart is one of the clearest in the altcoin space right now. You don't have any altcoins giving us this beautiful equilibrium. It's nice and clear. Stair step up, stair step down, stair step up, stair step down. Clarity. Pepe got the daily bounce underway from 4-hour oversold conditions. Got right down to it. Significant bounce off those lows. So from 4-hour oversold, almost 100% bounce. So personally, the way that I would be trading that if I were playing Pepe for that daily bounce is I would have exited enough to be risk-free. I wouldn't have nailed the bottom. But let's just say, I mean, there's obviously plenty of gains to put your stop risk-free if you played that bounce. Because now it's up to the bulls to confirm the daily uptrend. We have to hold 105 and break 15.5 for that little higher low and higher high. If the bulls can pull that off, we would then zoom out and be scouting a longer term time frame lower high. Probably a 3-day lower high. And watch for a tightening range on that time frame. But for now, the bulls must set the daily higher low and confirm this uptrend to try and shift this momentum. It's a good sign to see high bull volume on the bounce and low bear volume on consolidation, but no sign of that daily higher low being set just yet. Step number 1 would be confirming an hourly uptrend for that daily higher low to try and form. Atom. We're keeping an eye on Atom because it had a little bit of a bull move last week standing out. We're watching this potential falling wedge. And again, there's 2 ways you can draw the resistance. You can draw the bigger picture resistance, or you can zoom in and draw the more recent price action. And again, this is a visual guide, the trend lines, but we can then just use the price levels. Good old-fashioned trend change attempt. It's a little inverse head and shoulders. Trying to hold a daily higher low compared to 1018, and we must break 1129 to confirm the daily uptrend. We have not confirmed a daily uptrend since we topped out just under 13. So if we can confirm the daily uptrend, that increases the probability significantly that that is a weekly falling wedge or daily falling wedge, whatever time frame. And then we look for a monthly equilibrium to continue to tighten up. This is a really nice, clear monthly time frame. Low, high, higher low, lower high. And if that's a falling wedge that can break bull, that will be another higher low. For me, this is where using patterns and applying price action trends on longer term time frames can shift the confidence or probability of a pattern. If you show me that daily falling wedge on Atom and we're in a monthly, weekly downtrend, I say, okay, I'll pay attention to it, but it's not high conviction. But if you show me an equilibrium where a monthly higher low is the most likely scenario and you give me a daily falling wedge into that setup, I am way more confident. In the first scenario, if you're in a downtrend on the monthly and the weekly and you got a daily falling wedge, I'll give it a 35% chance that that's a good bull setup. Whereas if you got a monthly equilibrium with a monthly higher low and a daily falling wedge, I'll give it a 65% chance that it's a good bull setup. That's a very significant difference. The longer term time frames and most likely scenarios are essential to be looking in the right direction as a trader. So it's possible we don't set a monthly higher low, of course, but I'm looking for a monthly higher low to shape up for this range to continue to tighten, and then we'll look for a break into the fall. If we get the monthly higher low, could bounce for a month or two, remain tight, then we look for a break August or September. But first things first, got to see how this daily resolves itself. Can we confirm the daily uptrend? Thanks everyone for the likes and the shares and the comments and the support and the questions from the Q&A the other day. I'm now reading the chat room. Nice dip buy, entertainment only. We could definitely see another wave down. Again, we're in a daily downtrend for Bitcoin. And we can say, as what we've been saying to end last week, Bitcoin is not positioned well if the broader market sees any meaningful consolidation. The hope for the bulls is that we keep grinding higher in the broader market, which the NASDAQ bulls have certainly contributed to over the last couple of weeks. And one other thing notable about today, again, I'll talk about it on the broader market video at the end of today, but growth names, which I often associate crypto with just because growth is less developed, higher risk, higher reward. But growth names standing out today. IWM having a solid day. ARKK, Kathy Woods ETF. Big Red Friday, Big Green Day today. Crypto stocks all having some pretty solid days. Coin, MARA, Riot. So, need to see Bitcoin shape up the daily trend change is what it boils down to. One more leg up would be great to create that space, but even if we don't get it, still possible to set up a trend change. And yes, it is currently a 4-hour bull flag confirming with no follow through. Glad the book recommendation is going well. Johan. Lucid Dreaming. BTC price prediction for the next 3 to 4 halving all-time highs. That is not how I trade. So most of you already know that, but I do not make predictions. And when people get into trading, they think that trading is making predictions and being right about the future. And obviously that's some aspect, being right about the future. But you don't have to make predictions to be a good trader. And in fact, I would say that removing yourself from focusing on longer term predictions is necessary to be a good trader. So I'll make a prediction. I think that an equilibrium is the most likely scenario. That's a prediction, absolutely. But looking out to the future and making guesses, just wild guesses, and I call them wild because even the best trader out there, if you're predicting years down the road, you are absolutely guessing. And maybe it's a guess with a higher probability of coming true than other people because you've got more experience. That can be the case. But for me, it's a waste of time. You know, what's something going to be years down the road? Flip a coin and pick the number that it lands on. It just is, it's not valuable for me. So Bitcoin can be 75,000 in 2 years, and it can be 13,000 in 2 years. I have absolutely no idea, but I will make money whichever one that happens, whichever one. Doesn't matter. Glad to hear Roadhouse getting a bit of clarity. All right, so that was fairly simple. Daily EMA 12. Let's look at some altcoins because the altcoins are still weaker than Bitcoin. And we can go down the list and look at the daily EMA 12. And again, we want to make technical analysis as simple as possible. And whenever I can make a simple statement, I will always do it. Just like I did on the dominance chart. If the dominance chart is in between these two levels, nothing is changing, analysis done. OMG, or any of these alts. If daily EMA 12 is resistance, the bears are very comfortable on the daily time frame. They have full control. The first indication that bears are losing control is if the bulls get over 12 EMA. OMG has had 12 period EMA as resistance for the last 6 weeks. But we just go down the list. ADA is testing daily EMA 12. XRP has it as resistance. Uni, resistance testing. Dot resistance. Atom, little bit different. Atom is not the same setup as a lot of these bears, but Sushi, EMA 12 not being tested yet. SHIB, not being tested. It's been resistance for over a month. Doge, same thing. So a lot of these bounces on these altcoins are potential bear flags still at this point. You look at a SHIB bounce, and that SHIB bounce is definitely less confident than the current Bitcoin bounce in terms of retracement. Same with Doge. Sand is not doing anything. Binance has a bigger bounce. Binance is going to try and shape up a 12-hour inverse head and shoulders here. So we have a lot of space for a 12-hour higher low on Binance next consolidation, and we did bounce off weekly support. If we do get bounce follow through, we will be watching for the possibility that a weekly head and shoulders is shaping up. But first things first, one of the more solid bounces over the weekend. Still testing daily EMA 12, but again, you compare Binance to XTZ. That looks like a potential bear flag, and Binance, much more bounce follow through. Both still have daily EMA 12 resistance, but certainly different daily setups. Matic, still weak, still daily EMA 12. It's been resistance for over a month. Right around a month. So again, we're staying in the mindset of alts, for the most part, aside from a handful, are still a good bit weaker than Bitcoin. Any altcoin pairing, any altcoin Bitcoin pairing, Atom BTC is a good example. So any altcoin BTC pairing that is hitting the highest levels in, this is the wrong chart. Any altcoin BTC pairings that are hitting the highest levels in X number of weeks or X number of months stands out for the bulls. So we just had Atom BTC testing 2-month highs and failing, but most of these names are still very weak with their BTC pairings. So Sand BTC just grinding down. Doge BTC grinding down. So the only altcoins that I would be focused on as a bull are the ones where the BTC pairings are giving us a reason to keep an eye on those names. Otherwise, the bears are still very confident. And again, if you're looking bullish, that's fine, but just put yourself in a bear position, a mindset of a bear. And if you're looking at this Doge chart, and let's just say that you have been in this position however long you've been in it, whether it's a week, whether it's, a few days, well, anything from back here, any short from back here has nothing to worry about at this point. This bounce is not intimidating at all. I would not be think of covering at any point on this bounce. This is keeping me confident. So just continue to look at the charts from both directions. Ideally, we want to be looking at the charts as unbiased as possible, but if we struggle to do that, we can just put ourselves in imaginary scenarios. All right, I've got a bull position now. Now I pull up the chart. What do I want to see? What do I not want to see? And then just flip it. All right, I got a bear position, same coin. What do I want to see? What do I not want to see? And that can help us look at the chart a little bit more objectively. So long story short, while I wait for those likes to tick up, 61. We're shy with the likes today. It's okay. Happy Mother's Day weekend, everybody. I guess that's a bit late. Hope you had a good Mother's Day weekend. So summary. NASDAQ still holding on for the bulls. Grinding up. Dollar, solid bounce off key support to end last week. Still a possible weekly bear flag, but if the weekly bear flag is going to increase in probability, we have to see a retracement taking back a good bit of the gains that the dollar bull saw to end last week. So potential weekly bear flag. Bitcoin, found some chocolate. Bitcoin, daily bounce pretty solid. EMA 12 resistance test. 4-hour uptrend is our guide on the bounce. Lose the 4-hour uptrend. It's the first indication that daily consolidation is shaping up, and we must confirm a daily uptrend as the result of next consolidation to shift some of this momentum. Litecoin has my attention for the bulls. Atom has my attention for the bulls. Pepe definitely has attention for both directions due to the opportunity and the volatility. Other than that, the vast majority of altcoins are still very weak compared to Bitcoin. So just like Bitcoin is not positioned well if the NASDAQ and the broader market sees any weakness, altcoins are not positioned well at all if Bitcoin sees further weakness. And that is where we stand. Thanks again, everybody. Head on over to that Q&A video if you want a chance to win a free course. Giving 3 away. All you got to do is comment. And other than that, I'll see you very soon. And I hope you're great.